Most people assume fear needs a reason, a sound, a shadow, a threat. But the human brain doesn't work that way. Sometimes fear appears first, and the reason comes later. This is a real incident. It happened to an ordinary person on an ordinary night. Nothing supernatural, nothing dramatic. Yet the experience stayed with them for years because it revealed something uncomfortable about how the human mind works. The incident happened late in the evening. A woman was sitting alone in her apartment, doing something she had done hundreds of times before, scrolling on her phone, half watching television. The room was quiet. The door was locked. The lights were on. Nothing was wrong. Then suddenly, she became aware of her own breathing. Not because it was loud, not because it changed. The incident happened late in the evening. A woman was sitting alone in her apartment, doing something she had done hundreds of times before, scrolling on her phone, half watching television. The room was quiet. The door was locked. The lights were on. Nothing was wrong. Then suddenly, she became aware of her own breathing. Not because it was loud, not because it changed. She simply noticed it. At the same moment, a thought appeared, uninvited and unexplained. Something feels off. Not fear, not panic, just a quiet internal warning. She looked around the room. Everything was normal. The furniture was familiar. The clock was ticking. The TV continued playing. Still, the feeling remained. She stood up and checked the door. Locked. Windows closed. Phone signal normal. Each check provided logical reassurance. But her body didn't respond. Her heart rate stayed elevated. Her shoulders felt tense. The feeling didn't grow, but it didn't leave either. She later described it this way: break, it felt like my brain was waiting for something bad to happen, even though there was no reason. After about 20 minutes, the sensation slowly faded. Nothing happened. No explanation appeared, yet the memory stayed. Why this feels like a mystery experiences, like this feel mysterious, because they break an assumption most people have, that emotions always respond to reality. In truth, emotions often respond to interpretation, not facts. The brain's job is not to tell the truth. Its job is to keep you alive. And sometimes it becomes overly cautious. The psychological explanation. The human brain constantly runs a background system called threat detection. Most of the time, this system is quiet, but it can activate for reasons that have nothing to do with danger. Mental fatigue, overstimulation, subtle stress, even boredom. When it activates without a clear cause, the brain searches for one. This creates a strange loop. The body feels tense. The mind looks for danger, finding none. Confusion increases. Confusion itself becomes unsettling. This is not imagination. It is physiology. Another factor is predictive processing. The brain predicts what should happen next. When nothing unusual occurs, but prediction still fails, the brain experiences a mismatch. That mismatch feels like something is wrong. This doesn't feel real. I shouldn't feel this way. The brain dislikes uncertainty more than fear. Why the memory stays? Even though nothing happened, the memory stays because the experience challenged trust in perception. The brain remembers uncertainty more strongly than calm. There was no clear explanation at the time. The mind doesn't fear danger alone. It fears not understanding itself. Reflective ending experiences like this remind us of something important. Reality feels stable, but it is constantly being constructed inside the mind. Most of the time, that process is invisible. Occasionally, it reveals itself, not to frighten us, but to remind us how powerful perception really is.